was supposed to be the man I walked toward, not the man I watched from a cold, silent pew near the back. Because as the bride walked down the aisle in her white lace dress, glowing with a happiness so pure it felt like a lie, I realized she wasn't just anyone. She was my childhood best friend, the girl I had known since we were 5, the girl who had a key to my house. And the man waiting for her? The man who once held my hand in the quiet, dusty library? The man who once said I was the most beautiful person he had ever seen? The man who promised me forever? That was Jason Miller. I met Jason first. It was in those quiet, sacred spaces that I fell in love with him, with the way his eyes would crinkle when he laughed, with the way he would chew on the end of his pen when he was deep in thought. He was everything to me. And soon, he was confessing things to me I thought he'd never say to anyone. The secret ambition he had, the one he was too afraid to tell his parents about, the fear he had of never living up to his own expectations, the deep-seated guilt he carried over his parents' divorce. And in those moments, in the raw vulnerability of our confessions, I fell in love with him, with everything in me. And I thought he loved me too. Every touch, every laugh, every late night phone call. It all felt like a promise of a future we would build together. A future that was ours and ours alone. But here's the twist. The cruel, painful twist that changed everything. Claire met him through me. I introduced them at a party. A casual, simple gesture. A single sentence that, in retrospect, felt like I was handing over my entire future. At first, I was happy. Genuinely, truly happy. The two people I cared about most in the world were getting along. I would watch them from across the room, relieved, content, seeing my two favorite people talking, laughing, connecting. But slowly, with a chilling sense of dread, I started to notice. I noticed the way she laughed harder at his jokes than she ever did at mine, a practiced musical sound that felt like a performance. I noticed the way he leaned closer to her when they talked, his voice dropping to a low, intimate murmur. I noticed their silent, shared smiles, the little inside jokes that I wasn't a part of. And the worst part, I brushed it off. I told myself I was overthinking, that I was being paranoid, that they were just friends. It was a lie I told myself every day, every single time I saw them together, because the truth was too painful to bear. The truth that they had a secret world I wasn't invited to, a world that was slowly, silently replacing the one I had with Jason. Until one night, Jason didn't answer my calls. I called him a dozen times. I texted him, nothing, no response. The silence on the other end of the line was louder than any screaming match. And later, the next morning, I found out why. He had been with her. The quiet, suffocating truth of it hit me like a physical blow, a punch to the gut that stole my breath and left me gasping. The unspoken betrayal, the unsaid goodbyes. Do you know what betrayal feels like? It isn't always loud. It isn't always a dramatic, shouted argument, a thrown glass, or a slamming door. Sometimes it's the quiet ache in your chest when someone you trusted, someone you gave your whole heart to, chooses another person over you without a single word. Jason and I never had an official breakup. We never sat down and had a conversation where he told me it was over. He just stopped being mine.